Hi guys! This week's video is going to be a Q&A video, so I'm going to be answering 10 questions so that you can get to know me a little better. I really hope you enjoy it, and most of the questions are just like silly questions that are just, random. And then there's one question that is a little more serious, and I'm going to confess something to you guys that is very hard for me to talk about, so I'm already a little bit nervous about it, but I think it's time to talk about this. So yes, anyway, let's just get to the first question. So the first question is, are you a hoarder? Well, I'm not a hoarder as in, the ones on TV where everything is stacked up to the ceiling, but I do have a lot of things and I do find it really hard to part with things. I do my best. I really do my best to get rid of stuff that I don't want or need or use anymore, or that I have too many things of. Like, for example, with craft supplies and stuff, I had boxes and boxes and boxes full of leftover candles. Like, I would never be able to use those up in my life anymore. And a lot of those were like these big clumps that would be very hard to use anyway. So I got rid of half of that. Things like that, even if it's something like that that I know I'm not going to use all of it, it's still hard for me to part with. So sometimes when I watch those TV shows that are about, the hoarder next door and things like that, sometimes they say things and I find myself thinking, well, I understand that. And that scares me because I don't want to be like that. I want to have a lot of things, but I don't want it to get out of hand. So I do make sure that I'm always tidying up and I'm always trying to get rid of things that I don't need or want anymore or don't use anymore. And so that I keep it somewhat contained, but it is a fact that I have way too many things. But I really enjoy my things, so as long as it makes me happy and it doesn't hold me back, then I think it's fine. The second question is, are you more likely to avoid conflict or engage it head on? I'm an avoider. Well, I'm not an avoider in a way that I'm a coward and that I walk away, but I don't like drama, I don't like conflict, I don't like fights, I don't like any of that. It takes up a lot of energy, it's useless, and it's negative, so I would rather just walk away and be like, hey, you need two people to engage in drama, and I'm not playing. If you want to have drama with yourself, go right ahead, but I have better things to do with my time and energy, and I'd rather do something positive than something negative like fighting or, things like that. But if necessary, I will stand up for myself, but I would rather just sort of walk away from it. And also, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a people pleaser, but I do like people to like me, so I find it hard when I know that someone doesn't like me or someone's angry at me, but you can't be friends with everyone. I don't want to be friends with certain people at all. I don't need to be liked by everyone, but I don't think it's a nice feeling to know that someone is angry at me or hates me even though they don't even know me or something, or I haven't actually done anything wrong. I don't like that feeling. It can really upset me. But yeah, I would rather just walk away than engage in all that stuff because I ain't got the energy for that. So they can just fight with themselves or with someone who likes drama, but I ain't one of those people. The third question is, do you eat breakfast every morning? Now, I know a lot of people skip breakfast, but for me it's actually basically the meal I enjoy the most of the day. I don't really care about food at all. I don't really enjoy eating. It's one of those things I have to do. I don't, sometimes people post pictures of their food and they're like, oh, and they go out to dinner and things like that. To me, it's hard to understand because I'm not like that. To me, it's just one of those things that you have to do, like going to the toilet. It's one of those bodily functions that you have to fulfill but I don't typically enjoy it. But breakfast, I find the most, sort of like the best meal of the day. I don't know why, but I guess it is because I'm hungry when I wake up. I'm really hungry when I wake up. I want to eat right away. I wouldn't be able to wait an hour before I eat or something. But I don't have that for the rest of the day. Like, I eat because I have to, but not because I'm hungry. I forget to eat a lot as well, just because I don't get hungry. And in the morning I am hungry, so I guess that's why I enjoy that meal more than the others. And I typically eat warm oatmeal with oat milk, and usually a banana or an apple, or you know, some fresh fruit, which is, I think, a good start of the day. Number 4, do you love dancing? I love to dance. I love dancing so much. If the right music comes on, I cannot sit still. So the right music, I'm very particular about that. It's mostly like 70s, 80s music. I really like that. And certain movie soundtracks, and also some more current artists, but don't ask me who's in the top 20 because I probably don't even know any artists that are in the top 20 right now. I don't really keep up with all that stuff, but I love to dance. And some of you already know this, but I used to belly dance. I'm still a belly dancer at heart. The only reason why I'm not belly dancing a lot at the moment is just because circumstances are preventing me from doing so. But so basically I'm a belly dancer that's currently just temporarily, hopefully, not belly dancing, but I still absolutely love it. And yeah, I hope to get back to it someday. What's the last movie that you saw at the cinema? The last movie, as far as I can remember, I might be wrong, but I think the last one I saw in the movie theater was Mockingjay Part 1. So that was a long time ago. I think that's like 4 or 5 years ago. But this week, I'm actually going to the movie theater again. Finally. And it's very exciting because we're going to see The Nutcracker and the Four Realms, and we're going to be seeing it in 3D 4XD or something. I don't know, it's a combination between a 3D movie and a movie that has those moving seats and like smoke and water effects and I don't know what else, wind effects and scent and things like that. It's a combination of those things, and I think it's really exciting. I'm really excited about it, so I hope, you know, everything will go well and we get to go and it will be fun. So I'm really looking forward to that. I already said that. Can you tell I'm really looking forward to it? So yes, hopefully by next week I will have seen another movie at the movie theater. What is something most people don't know about you? This is the question that I was dreading, but I mean I picked it, but I'm already getting a little, yeah. So this is serious. This is not, you know, like a joking type of answer or question like the previous ones. I am going to try and keep it fairly short because I do have other silly questions to answer, but for some reason, don't ask me why, but for some reason I finally decided to open up about this. There is something that I've sort of been hiding, or not really hiding, but not talking about, not showing for many years. And it's not just here online, it's to everyone. I've been not lying about it, but just sort of not talking about it, sort of avoiding it altogether. Yeah. So this is something almost nobody knows about me. There are a few people that know, like my parents and my sister, my best friend. There are a few people who know something, but they don't know the extent of it. I'm not going to go into much detail here either. It's already a huge deal that I'm even saying anything about it. So like, don't expect me to give details or anything. Maybe someday I will, but like, this is already a huge step. So basically, I'm just gonna go and say it. I'm sick. So not sick as in I'm gonna die tomorrow. Well, you can always, you know, something can always happen, but yeah, not like that. But sick as in I have like serious medical conditions. I have for a very long time, and they are preventing me from having any sort of normal life, basically. So my circumstances and my life look very different from most people's. And yeah, so I'm always in a lot of pain. I take so many medications. I rarely leave the house because I can't. The most even very simple things that most people won't even think about are hard or not possible for me. And what I just said about going to the movie theater, this is like, as I said, it's been 4 or 5 years. That's because I couldn't. And now I'm gonna try, and hopefully my body will behave a little bit for that period of time. But so things like that, they don't come easy to me. It's not like, oh, I want to go to a movie, let's do this. I can't, you know, this is very hard or impossible. So hopefully it will go well. So a few times a year I try to do something like that. But yeah, so even basic things like cleaning my house or going somewhere, even going to the grocery store, or even taking a shower, those things are all very difficult for me. Just an example, if you want to take a shower, I don't know, you might have issues too, but let's say a normal, healthy person takes a shower, they don't think twice about it, right? For me, it's like, it's already taking my pajamas off and everything is already, it already takes up quite a bit of energy that I don't have, or I don't have a lot of. And then I have to get into the shower, take a shower, wash myself. Yeah, it's very tiring. And then, I have to dry myself off, and usually I just put, why am I talking like this about a shower? I'm gonna be talking way too long like this. Just, in short, even taking a stupid shower takes a lot out of me. Sometimes I can't even do it. Sometimes I have to lay on the couch for hours afterwards resting because I'm exhausted from taking a shower. Some days it goes better and I can actually take a shower and even still do something afterwards. So I do have ups and downs. I don't live day to day even, I live hour to hour, because I can be okay now, but I don't know how I'm gonna feel in half an hour. Like, it's like a roller coaster, I might wake up and I might be like, oh, hey, it's going pretty well. Hey, maybe I can do this today. Oh, never mind. Not going to happen, apparently. So it's sort of like that all day long. So that's another reason why, even if I were feeling better at a certain moment, why it's almost impossible for me to meet up with people, go places, have social contacts, do things, because I don't know how I'm gonna be feeling. And it's not like, oh, I'm doing well, so I'm probably gonna keep doing well for the next few hours. It's not like that. I might be doing really well and feeling really well one moment, and half an hour later I will be laying there like in so much pain, basically passing out because the pain is so unbearable, and that's it. And I might be able to walk to the drugstore and be like, hey, I'm getting out and I'm getting some sun and some fresh air. And people might see me walking and thinking, well, she's fine, look at her, she's just walking there and she's smiling and everything. But what they don't see is that the rest of the day or a couple of hours after that, I'm flat on the couch, completely exhausted and in pain, because that little walk to the drugstore was already way more than my body could handle. So yeah, that's basically my big secret. I haven't, lied about it. I just haven't told you. That's not the same thing, and me sitting here, usually smiley and bubbly and everything, that's not a lie. That's not that I'm not like that. I am, but my illness prevents me from being like that for a long time. In my heart I am, but so it's definitely not that I'm like acting. I do pretend that I'm feeling better than I really am, but I do that all the time. I do that with everyone. If someone sees me, I'll act as if I'm feeling 100 times better than I am, because I don't want to burden anyone with them knowing how I really feel, how I'm really doing, because I want to keep things positive. I don't want them to think, oh, she's that sick girl, or poor her. I want them to think, hey, she's creative and she's fun and she's bubbly and she has a nice smile and I like watching her, I like talking to her. I want it to be positive, because I'm not my illness. It's a big part of me, but that's not who I am. So that's one of the reasons why I don't like talking about it, because I don't want to focus on that negativity. Yes, it's a big part of me. I live with it every second of every day. I'm in so much pain all the time. It affects me in ways that you can't even imagine. And it's horrible. But I don't dwell on it. I don't feel sorry for myself. I always try to focus on the positive things in life, the small things in life that make me smile, like my sweet little bunnies falling asleep right there, and fun things that I have around the house, and the sun shining, and someone smiling at me, and a nice comment on a YouTube video of mine, and things like that. Which is another thing I kind of want to, say, that I love doing YouTube, and it's definitely something that gives me some drive to get something big done in a week. But making one video a week may not seem like much, but it takes pretty much everything I've got. I put all my energy in that, and so I just hope that maybe that will help you guys understand a little better. If some weeks I really can't put a video up, I do everything I can to do so, but it's usually my body that won't allow me, or I'm having technical difficulties and I have to refilm 5 times, and I really don't have the energy for that. But I really try, and I really do hope you guys enjoy it. And also about illness, I just want to mention, you guys know this, but I feel like people know it, but they don't really. When you see someone, there is so much more than you can see. You can see me smiling and acting all energetic, and you may think, wow, she must have a very happy life and she must have a lot of energy to be like that. And wow, she must be very social and going everywhere and everything. And then you hear the truth. And yeah, so there's so much more than you know. It's not because someone looks fine on the outside that they are. Invisible illness is very real. And it's not just, invisible illness. There are other things that people might be hiding or not being very open about. But just, I don't know, keep that in mind maybe before assuming things about someone, or before judging them about something. I don't think you guys judge people, but you know, just, I don't know, keep it in mind. Or even when someone is not being very nice to you, maybe keep in mind that they might be in a lot of pain or something, or they might be going through a really rough time. That doesn't excuse that type of behavior, by the way. I don't think it does, but there might be more to their behavior than you think. Yeah. Whew. Yeah, that was hard for me to say, but okay, enough. Let's go back to something fun. Huh, all right. What's the name of your first pet? Let's just go back to the normal stuff. What's the name of your first pet? As far as I know, our first pet was Prutzke, which was a Malteser dog, and she was just super cute. She was actually the dog of my grandma, but unfortunately my grandma couldn't take care of her anymore, so she came to live with us when she was still pretty young, and oh my gosh, I loved her so much. She was the cutest, sweetest. We played together, we sort of grew up together, and I will insert a picture somewhere here so you can see her and little me. She was just wonderful. It was so heartbreaking to have her put down, but she had cancer and she was in a lot of pain, and you know, we didn't want her to suffer anymore. But she will always stay in my heart. I even dream about her still sometimes. Sometimes I have a dream about her and I wake up and I'm like, how weird is that? Or I wake up and I don't even know that I'm in my house, but it's like I'm still in the house of my parents and I'm still a little girl and I'm wondering where she is, if she's not on my bed or anything. Weird. But yeah, I do like dreaming about her when it's a positive dream, and I do believe that her soul is still somewhere with me, and she was wonderful. Ugh. I'm turning. Ooh. Oh. I'm sitting on a really high stool that rolls and it also turns around, so I was kind of in trouble there for a moment, but I didn't fall off, so that would be something. Anyway, what kind of books do you like to read? I like reading creepy books, like horror books, sci-fi, some sci-fi, not every type of sci-fi, but like fantasy. I mean, yeah, fantasy. What else? Some novels. True stories, not so much. I have read a few, but not really into romance or anything like that. Occasionally I will read such a book if I can't find anything else at the library that I like, or if I'm sort of all horrored out, if I'm like, okay, my mind is getting to weird places again because all I read is creepy stuff. Maybe I should read something a little more, you know, then I will read something romantic or a novel or something to just, you know, change my mind to something a bit more normal again. Because sometimes if you read like really extremely disturbing books and you read a lot of those in a row, your mind can start going weird. I don't know. I sometimes certain books can really affect me, and certain movies too, that I will just feel really weird or bad for an entire week or longer if it's like a really, yeah. It doesn't happen a lot, but there was this one book I read sometime, and oh my gosh, I just felt so weird, like detached of reality almost. So if I get that feeling, I know I need to read something a bit more, you know, simple, a bit more positive. And I like fat books. I've said it before, I like really fat books. The thicker the better, but of course they have to be really good books in order for them to be this thick. But if it's a thin book, I'm like, what's the point? I like covers. They always say don't judge a book by its cover. But when it comes to actual books, I do look at the cover as well as a way of knowing whether I would like the book or not. So it does appeal to me, and the thickness. If it's a fat book, I'm already interested from just seeing it sitting there at the library, and I will grab it and have a look. But unfortunately, these types of books, like the really, really fat ones, not a lot of those exist. So yeah, make more fat books. Yes. What is your favorite time of the day? I don't really have a favorite time of the day, like, oh, mornings or nights or this or that, but I do love the moments where I get to cuddle with my bunnies. Like, one is already asleep there, the other one is falling asleep. I don't know how the two downstairs are doing, but I don't really hear them, so I think they're asleep now too, which is they sleep during the day, and then during the night they keep their mommy awake, which is me. Right? Because of these two, I haven't slept more than 2 hours in these past 2 weeks, except last night. I finally had a good night's sleep. Finally. They're like, you know, I don't even need to have children or anything because, oh, thank you, dog. Oh, he's just being so cute. But yeah, they can keep you awake too. It's like, yeah. Oh. Anyway, cuddle time with my bunnies. Those are my favorite moments of the day, and moments where I get to do something, not just because I have to, not just housework or anything like that, but something fun, like something creative. I really enjoy that. And then the last question, if you could change something about your home without worrying about expense or mess, what would you do? I think they mean that question more as in, would you remodel and what would you do? But I'm gonna go a little more extreme. If I had all the money in the world, so not worrying about expenses, I would pick up the house and put it somewhere else in the midst of beautiful, gorgeous nature with a huge piece of land, etc. That was all mine, and I would put the house there. It's like, I love my house, I love my garden, but I would just pick it up and put it somewhere else, just because the village where I live is getting more and more, more and more buildings are being put up, and more people are moving here, and so there's also more traffic. More and more events are being organized, which means more noise, and just all things that I personally really don't like. I know that to a lot of people this is actually a selling point. It's like you have everything nearby. I have everything at walking distance, which is great. That's like a huge plus, but you also get a lot of the negatives. So it's becoming more noisy. There are more cars and stuff, and I really don't like that. I really like peace and quiet. I like nature. I don't like, well, I don't want to sound completely asocial, but I don't like, a lot of people around and a lot of movement and stuff. I just want trees and birds and water and space and just peace and quiet, basically, and just nature. And yeah, so if I could pick the house up and put it somewhere in the middle of nature on a huge piece of land so that I could have lots more animals, that would be perfect. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and my honesty about a very difficult subject. At least it's very difficult for me. It's gonna take a lot of courage for me to actually upload this video. Filming it is one thing, but uploading it, that's another. Because once it's out there, you can't take it back. Yeah. just gotta press that upload button and not think about it too much. But anyway, click the like button if you enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And I will see you next week with a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye!